Hey y'all, Christian Thunder Laser here. Want to go over how to do the autofocus on your Galvo laser. So this is going to be the Aurora 2.0 machines and the Aurora 1.0s that were pros. So they'll have the Field Tech heads. If those aren't the machines you're using, you're not going to use the TL software that we have here. You don't have a TL autofocus board. You'll want to use the OEM software that's referenced in the manual. Now, this video isn't really going to cover, setting optimum focus or, defocusing and stuff like that. This is just going to go, here's how to use the software. All right. So the little focus software we have here is pulled up. You'll find that on your USB stick that came with the machine. Right here, I've got it shown underneath the UV. Your thumb drive may be a different letter. As you can see, I got the D thumb drive as well. Um, autofocus software. There it is. So it's a little executable, runs on Windows, very small form factor. We want to grab that, go ahead and get it running. You'll want to grab a copy of the manual, which we have on the knowledge base. We have the V1s and the V2s. You'll scroll down a ways and you'll find the table that kind of shows the different lenses and their focal distances. Now note that these focal distances are not from the surface of the lens to the pie plate. These are from the sensor in the head, which is, inch and a half or so higher than the actual lens itself. So these numbers will vary versus the table up above. And then you'll also get to see the settings here. For that, we want to start with as far as communication and setup, and then nominal values for each of the lens depending on what machine you're running. So for today, we're going to kind of do a setup where we go from the old 150 millimeter workspace to a 200 millimeter workspace. So swapping in the 290 lens. So I've got the software pulled up and you're probably wondering, okay, how do I know what to put here for port? Well, we're going to pull up Windows Device Manager to find that. So as long as you've got the driver installed or you plugged it in and Windows found a driver for it, it's going to show up under ports COM. We're looking for the CH340. So in this example, it's COM5. Yours may be COM5. It could be one of the many other COMs. It just depends on whatever Windows assigns it. So I'm going to come back over here and select COM5. Then I'm going to go through and make sure that the gear pitch and pulse match what I want, so 5 and 5,000. And then we're going to pick our focal length. Now, right now I'm at the 273, which was the nominal for my 210 lens on my original 1.0. Let's say we're going to the 290. I'm going to want something in the 395 to 397 range. So then I'll just take the mid-range of that for now and click 396. So I've got all my settings. I'm going to click connect. Then I'll put in 396 like it deletes it for me. Thank you. And then click send. You'll get a message of send successfully. If you're not connected or the driver's not right, you'll get a failed message. At that point, we're done. We just got to go to the machine and do the autofocus. You could, check with the measuring tape, figure out that it's still at 396 millimeters and such. So you've got the autofocus set up right. One step further beyond that, it's going to be getting your core file or proper profile setup for EasyCAD. So up here, I've actually got two versions. I got my 150 and 200. The 200 has basically just been a copy of the 150, and so that I have two separate EasyCADs that I can run that will have the core file selection. So I'm going to open up EasyCAD 3, let it do its thing. Hopefully it doesn't pop up error message. Here we go. Then under parameter, I'm then just going to select here under field, file name. I'm going to pick the correct core file, which is going to be this 200 width core file. And you'll notice that the core files are named by working area where those lenses are identified by focal length. And then of course it's got my serial number. Click open and boom. Now I have a 200 series EasyCAD 3, so I can do my own parameter library. I can go and delete all the stuff I don't want and just make this specific to the 200. Very similar to Lightburn. Say I was doing my UV machine, I can have separate profiles. So I've got the 170 and 254, and then you've got your device settings for each one, right? So you can set up your different working areas, core file, scaling and all that stuff depending on which one you're working with, and then you just make sure you pick the right one based off of what lens you've got physically installed. Um, if you wanted to change back, you really just got to go back in the software and say, okay, Instead of 396, I want to go back to 273 while it's connected. I just click send again. Now, every time you open up this software, make sure that these settings are corrected, right? So it's not necessarily going to have COM5, the gear pitch, or the pulse for you. So you'll want to double check that so that you get the right focal distance. But that's it. It's really not that hard. Once you got the cabling set up and double check the COM port numbering, it's a couple clicks to get it done. But yeah, thank y'all for joining us. And if you got any questions, just let us know. Support at thunderladeusa.com. Thank you.